Did you ever come across someone who keeps telling you that, hey, you are too aggressive? Hey, you are, too short-tempered. Or, hey, you are so dynamic. You take too many risks in life. Hey, man, you're very, very courageous. If that is the case, then this video is for you. On this note, I welcome you all to my channel Modern Pandit, and today we are going to cover a very, very important planet in astrology called Mars, or Mangal in Hindi. So let's get started. Mars holds a very important position in the planetary cabinet. And when I say planetary cabinet, from my earlier videos on Sun and Moon, so Sun is the king in the planetary cabinet. Moon is the queen in the planetary cabinet, and Mars is the commander-in-chief, or what we call as Senapati in Hindi, and that's what it represents in the planetary cabinet. Now, just quickly thinking upon the word Senapati or commander-in-chief, what exactly comes to your mind? War, blood, valor, being dynamic, taking risks, quick decision making, fire, police, army. Yeah, so Mars basically represents all these elements that we just talked about in our life. Mars is a significator of land, or what we call as Bhumi. So if the planet Mars is very strong in your chart, that means you are blessed to have property, land, in your life. And if the same planet Mars is weak in the chart, so that simply means that you will struggle, throughout your life to make property, or if you make one, you will end up in disputes, or that property will not give you, financial gains. Mars is also a significator of your siblings. So if planet Mars is well placed in the chart, so that simply means that you are blessed with siblings in your life. And if this Mars is not in a good position, or is afflicted, so that means you could be the only child of your parents. Now it can be understood in a different way as well, that if your Mars is strong in the chart and you have siblings, so it simply means that you will benefit a lot throughout your life, from your siblings. Your siblings will stand with you when it comes to adversities. When you are in trouble, they will be the first who will help and support you throughout your life. So that is what Mars, a good Mars in the chart, blesses you with. But on the other hand, if the same Mars is not in a great position, then it is the other way around. So that means the same siblings you'll end up, in conflicts with those siblings. You'll end up fighting with those siblings. You'll not get the support of your siblings. You might not be in talking terms with your siblings. You could end up in a conflict which could be due to your parental property. And since we know now that Mars is the significator of property, land, so a not so great Mars in the chart may lead you to have conflicts with your siblings on your parental property, or any investments that you might have done with your siblings. So that might not be fruitful. In Kalpurusha's horoscope, Mars owns the first house, simply because the chief job of the Senapati or commander-in-chief is to protect the physical being, and hence Mars is given the charge of the first house of Kalpurusha in the form of Aries. It also owns the sign of Scorpio, which happens to be the 8th house of the Kalpurusha's horoscope, which simply means that, you know, it is the house, since it is the house of longevity, and hence in what cases you live long. You live long when you protect your body, when you take care of your body, and hence Mars, the protector, is given the charge of the 8th house of the Kalapurusha, which is the house of Ayu or longevity. Now, when that protection is over, a person dies. And that is why 8th house is also the house of death, and hence Mars is also a planet that plays a great role when it comes to life and death situations. Now, that was on Kalpurusha's horoscope, but then when it comes to planetary associations, there's a big difference in how Mars behaves when it is associated with benefic planets and how Mars behaves when it is associated with malefic planets. Now, when it is associated with a weak moon, which in astrology is considered to be malefic, to be honest, when this planet Mars associates itself with a moon, or a weak moon I should say, the person is short-tempered. So if you or someone in your house or your relatives or your friends is very, very short-tempered, go check the placement of Mars and Moon in the chart. I'm sure Mars and Moon will be very, very closely associated, and hence all the energy of the Mars is just driven into the temper of that person, or the person's really, really angry for very small things. If it's associated with all the other malefics that you've got, Rahu, Ketu, Sun, yeah, not so great Sun. I think the energy of the Mars is not utilized in the right direction, provided the other combinations are also present in the chart. Now, if this Mars, of this energy, of this, really courageous, energy of the Mars is associated with softer planets, benefic planets like Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, then that person will be very calm, composed. That the goal of that person will be to use that energy of the Mars in the right direction, and hence and at times I've seen people being timid as well, what we call as darpok. So placement of Mars really makes a big difference to whether you are very, very courageous, or you're timid in general. Now, Mars exaltation happens in 28 degrees of Capricorn, and its debilitation happens in 28 degrees of Cancer sign. So that means Mars is at its full potential when it is at 28 degrees Capricorn, and it's at its least potential when it is on 28 degrees of Cancer. Lastly, talking about remedies. The only practical remedy that you can think about, Mars, or you can do for Mars, as I said in the start of my video, that Mars represents your siblings. So the greatest or the best remedies is go and love your siblings, go respect your siblings, spend more time with them, stand by them when they really need you in life. So that is the only way that you can improve your Mars in general. And I can think of an analogy here of Ramayana, so where Lord Ram and Ravana had the same placement in their chart. The Mars was literally equal when it comes to strength, but what really made the difference to their fate was their association with the siblings. So where Ravan actually kicked out all his siblings, Ram had his siblings standing with him throughout his journey, and we all know the fate of Ram and Ravana during the battle of Ramayana. So on that note, this is Modern Pandit signing off. In case you are new to my channel, I really request you to subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon, share and like my videos with your family and friends, and whosoever is really interested in knowing more about astrology. A lot of laughter and sunshine to you all, and last but not the least, thanks for watching.